Guy channel. The Car Guy channel. My name is Mike Hennessy. This show is all about cars and all four car guys. Get yourself a cold beer. Get yourself a cold beer, guys, because our show is... Yeah! We are smoking! I'm Mike Hennessy, and you're watching the Car Guy channel. I have an auto repair shop. I've been in the business for over 30 years. You name it, we got it, we built it, we've done it, we do it. We love this car stuff, and I hope you guys do too. We're gonna have a lot of fun, got a lot of stuff cooking, so just stay tuned. Welcome to the Car Guy channel. We got a fantastic show here today. We're down here at Mountain View A La Carte Art. What a show, all kinds of stuff going on, and a lot of unusual cars. We got to start to finish for some high ones, fast ones, slow ones. Two things you don't do. Don't touch that dial, and the other one is enjoy yourself, get a cold one, because we got a lot of car stuff to talk about. In the car collector world, there's all sorts of makes and models of cars and all different types of cars to get involved with this particular hobby. This happens to be a GT40, and a lot of people don't know really why they call the car a GT40. But a GT40 design is from the top of the car to the bottom of the pan rail, from the distance from here to here is 40 inches. Now, these reproduction type GT40s come with 6-speed transmissions. The other cars did not have, from the early 60s, did not have a 6-speed transmission. This car has 500 plus horsepower, and that makes the car a totally different car to drive than they were back in the earlier years. This car drives like butter, but even though it handles really well on the track, being red with the white stripes, I'm just telling you, this car here is fantastic. Doing these shows, we meet a lot of great people, and I met a man over here that comes to a lot of our shows. You went to one of our early Carroll Shelby shows, didn't you?
Yes, over at San Jose Mercury News.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Ronnie Deemer. I'm from Santa Clara.
Mike Hennessy, Ronnie.
How you doing?
Well, I want to thank you for coming. He brings a DeLorean down. Last year, I thought it was really kind of cool. You bring the Sunbeam Tiger out here. And what I like about this car here, it's unusual. And there's some pictures here we're going to show you guys and gals that are really some of the before and after pictures. And if you caught one of the pictures, one of them actually will have a Euro license plate. And the Euro license plate will explain why Ronnie has a right-hand drive car. Hey, let's get the camera and check this thing here out. Not a lot of people have seen a right-hand drive car. Let's look it over. What a Shelby-inspired automobile. Originally, Carroll Shelby checked into the Sunbeam Alpine like he did the AC Bristol. When the AC Bristol came on the market, that's the car actually he turned into the famous Shelby Cobra. They had to redesign the body for the Shelby Cobra to be a 427. The 289 cars are all earlier cars, and the 67 big fendered cars got into the 427 series. But this car here was one of the models that Carroll did go after. He inspired with this car. He actually helped design this car, and a few were out there that are actually Carroll Shelby cars. But what he did like about him is that they had a Ford power plant. Shelby was very, very much Ford. This car right here handles and drives absolutely just like, remember the old roller coasters that would actually be like Mousetrap? And I used to think that's the way these cars handled. When you touch the steering wheel, this car reacts to what you want it to do. It was a phenomenal made car. They had a big engine. This right here is a 289. Early cars had 260s like we were talking Ronnie about. He knows his cars real well, but you got a lot of horsepower. And when the guys restored some of these pieces like Ronnie, he kind of did everything like I would do. He'd bring that horsepower up. He's probably just tickling just a little under 300 horsepower. But when you look at it, what I do admire what he did, he kept the generator. A lot of people would have changed this over to an alternator. Alternator itself is a little bit smaller in size, and you can tell these are really tight inside to work on. And they got a 4-barrel carburetor. These air cleaners are actually, they'll say AC on the top, and these were designed strictly for the Sunbeam Alpines and, of course, the Sunbeam Tigers. And when you get a Tiger car, I think he did a great job. I love the color. There's a really, really good feel to me on it. Nice black on the inside, but what really attracted me earlier, like I was mentioning, a right-hand drive automobile.
Well, you can rock and you can roll and you can stop and even stroll it at the hop, 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 hop. When the record starts to spin and you chill it, so when you chicken at the hop, 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 hop. Do the dance.
It's crazy about the car guy world because sometimes money doesn't always matter if they're the Ferraris, the GT40s, or some of the big $500,000 street rods. There's a car that's called popularity. 1964 Chevrolet Impala station wagon happens to be one of the most popular cars here. Everybody looks at it. Everybody talks about it. This is a really neat car. It has an up-to-date Chevy 350 motor with a 4-barrel, and it has air conditioning, power steering, power brakes, and there's some pretty neat features inside the car. Let's go open the door. Let's take a look inside here, and I think you're going to be pretty impressed and see why it's kind of one of the people's favorites. One of the neatest features in this car really is the dash tack. You just don't see that on these early model Chevrolets, and being into a wagon I think is a real special item to have in the car. Gives it a great look, very, very, very classic SS style. And then this car has something else kind of neat also. It has a 4-speed transmission, and a 4-speed transmission in one of these is pretty much unheard of. They had stick shifts in these obviously, and they had automatics, 3 speeds on the column, but not a 4-speed. The 4-speed was adapted into this car. I'm telling you, these are some nice features. Dash looks really clean. I'm telling you, this right here is what a wagon's all about. One of the features I feel is absolutely spectacular is the bucket seats. These right here are SS Chevrolet Impala seats. And my upholstery guy did a full, complete custom interior for this car. Matched the same material that's on the back seat. Have the big dark stripe in the very, very center. And the teal blue on the outside. And did all the stitching on it. Bobby Mountain View Interiors, thank you, buddy. You did a great job for my buddy Mark. This happens to be one of the rarest cars actually that come to the show. This right here is a 1967 Pontiac 2+2. Now, that might sound a little bit boring at first, but we're looking at a car that has a factory. These are not add-on options in this car. This is a factory 4-speed. Very, very cool. Then, of course, it has factory air conditioning that I think is a phenomenal touch for this car. And the neat thing of all the stuff on it, it's Tri-Power. She's got a 6-pack. This right here is one of the top options on the car. Really makes this extremely rare. And of course, when we're going to talk about the wheels, these are an 8-lug wheel. Now here's the other thing with the rareness and whatnot. Whoever ordered this car, they didn't miss a beat with options. They bought the car completely, and I mean fully loaded, whatever Pontiac had to offer. But when you look this over, I'm going to tell you, you're going to be really, really impressed with a Pontiac 421. When I see this car here is optioned out, if you look over there, right on the driver's side of the firewall, you're going to see the power brake booster with a single master. That's the way they were sold for this particular car. You think a dual master would be it, but nope. Tony kept the car correct, and that's the way it should be. But this right here, when you see the 3 deuces, the 6-pack, whatever novelty name you want to give it, there's 3 2-barrels underneath the hood of this car, and they're factory 3 deuces. Very, very cool, phenomenal, and they makes the cars drive like a rocket ship. And of course, cool option is factory air conditioning. This thing here has power steering. It has it all, and look how clean it is. You can tell the restoration. This right here is a rare car. Let's take you inside this car with the bucket seats, the center console, the 4-speed, and the tilt steering. The options don't stop on this car. Get over here. Let's check it out. Boy, we got the cars here with a factory dash tack. This just doesn't get better than that. And we got a tilt steering. Again, the options don't stop on this car. It's really kind of cool. So you got a tilt steering, you got a dash cam, and then of course in the center console with the bucket seats, you got your 4-speed shifter. It always makes me proud to see cars that my shop has built and put together, painted and did all the work on it. And there was an episode on this Cougar here on the Car Guy channel. But seeing it here today was really kind of a neat thing to see, kind of pull it back in, running good, customer happy. Kind of neat. Check this thing out real quick. We got a lot of other cars to check out. Now here's a face only a mother could love. Hi, Tony.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. Tony's the one who owns that beautiful 2+2 Pontiac, and of course with the Cougar we did. And then his wife goes ahead and shows up with the original 1986 Corvette.
30,000 miles on this original.
That many, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Corvettes are coming on strong, especially these years. Out there is probably one of my lists of the top 10 cars that you can start buying pretty well and collecting trucks. Some of these Corvettes here going on. And of course, the other cars I kind of predicted to do well are Camaros that actually are smog cars that you would need to start 75 on up, 76 up to 82, 84. Those cars are starting to get lightly desirable because the body on them. This is a pretty cool car.
And they're easier to get into, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Tony, thanks for having it on the show.
All right, man.
Hey, we got a lot of other cars to look at. Let's walk down here and show you a lot of stuff. Mountain View covers it all. Here's another unusual car you don't see every day. These right here are called Excaliburs. And these right here were just built originally in a Chevrolet truck chassis. 454 Chevrolet engine is how most of them are all built. This right here is a well-preserved one. It's kept up real well. They're in the luxury line of some of the classic cars that were reproduced. These are not a kit car, so I don't want anybody to think there was a homemade build. Some guy built with Orchard Supply parts. This right here, the company Excalibur, they went ahead and ordered the frames, the engines, the chassis, and they went ahead and custom built their bodies to go on top. All the coachwork inside is pretty neat. These are pretty cool cars, and there's some good investments out there. There's some good buys. Excalibur is one of those cars that are coming on. And I got my buddy Mark Furlong over here, and he runs the whole store here in Santa Cruz. Correct, Mark?
Yes, I do.
Now, Mark handles all my parts, all my stuff, all my weird stuff, the weird crap, anything weird, we call you.
Yes.
So we call him on all the weird stuff. This store's over in Santa Cruz, and you got five stores, right?
Yes, we do.
Now, the reason why I'm having Mark on the show is for more than one reason. I always say more than two reasons, but we got a lot of reasons why. He's got a crew. You guys have been meeting his crew throughout all the shows and all the stores and stuff. I asked him a question earlier, and I'm going to change it around. How do you hire the help you got?
When they walk in, if I like the way they look and the way they talk, then I'll give them a try.
Good. All your guys have been with you for years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I like to keep them around as long as possible.
Now, how long have you been in the parts business?
24 years.
24 years? Jeez. That's a long time.
Yeah.
So you better know what the hell you're doing.
Well, I hope so. Not always, but I always try.
You guys are part techs besides part guys. So when you hire a guy, he's a car guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows parts. He knows one thing. He knows another thing. With all the stuff you guys got, you got a versatility of car guys.
Very much so.
You got guys. He's got a street rod guy, flathead guy, wholesale guy, and all your guys are legitimate bone car guys, correct?
Absolutely.
Let's rock and roll. Let's get our parts going, buddy. Okay. Good. You know I'm a sucker for unique automobiles, and I think this Citroen is absolutely one of the most unique cars and most unusual cars. What's your name, Greg? Greg, how are you doing?
Greg, nice to meet you, Mike.
Good
How
to
are ya?
see you too.
Yeah.
Greg, we see these applications come in, and my wife goes through them, and she goes, "There's gonna be a Citroen there." I said, "Really? What's model of it?" And I find out you're bringing a convertible.
I am.
Then a convertible four-door. How many in the
correct.
country in a four-door?
No, there's only one in the world. This is it.
We're going to work the crowd a little bit.
This is a great car.
This is a
Lot of
fantastic
fun.
car. Now, this model car is a four-cylinder.
Correct.
And a little bit about the suspension on it.
Yeah, it was quite a feat of engineering for the time. Back in 1949, Citroen actually introduced the hydraulic sphere cylinder system, and it just had 4 hydraulic spheres mounted in the 4 pivot points of the car, and as you turn the car on and started it up, the hydraulics would just come up on the car, and you'd see the whole car raise up, and you would be driving along on those hydraulic suspension. Now, that hydraulic system not only controlled the suspension, but it also controlled the power steering. It controlled the automatic transmission, the power brakes, and of course the suspension.
And you're going to show everybody where the big drum is that holds all that fluid.
Yeah, that's right.
Here's what we mentioned earlier. I used to call it the old oil drum, but this right here is actually the container that holds the fluid that operates the power steering, all the system in the car. And of course, the main thing what these are known for is the hydraulic suspension that they go up and down on. This has to be full of fluid at all times. Now, when all this stuff gets full of fluid, we're talking about these spheres. And the spheres is exactly what they are. They look like a round ball, and they're very thick, and they hold a lot of pressure. And there's just a few places that actually still service these spheres. They're coming back, but the spheres are right here. You're going to have 4 throughout the whole car, not to go into all the engineering of a Citroen, but you got one here, you got one over there, and you got 2 for the back of the car. Those actually help the system go up and down by the hydraulic system on it. It's just a fascinating system. Still, get a camera in there and see if you can get a picture of those. I think you guys would just love it. Now, when you start up this car, you're going to see this car here just start to raise up in the air automatically. The whole thing kind of comes up. Now, these were done for safety reasons for a Citroen, to make them handle and drive really well. Now, the hydraulic suspension in this car really was not designed for shows or doing stunts or doing tricks. These were originally designed on the type of handling you were doing in the car. That's what a hydraulic suspension is all about when the French did it. French put this car together. It's probably one of the most masterpieces they've ever done really in the automotive industry. And when they come in, the SM cars are way more complicated. These are still, luckily, Greg's an engineer, so he understands a lot of the car, and that's really the type of client that really has some of these early model Citroens. And there's so many neat features on it when it does raise up in the air and come on back down. That's how you change the tires on the car. You really do not need a jack. We're going to head to the back of the car, and I got to show you what a neat feature. Greg, I mentioned earlier about changing the tire on this car. Just give us a brief explanation here. What do that goes?
It's great. You just simply put a bracket into the side of the car, lift up the lever, the car comes up hydraulically, and then by simply taking the bolt off the back here, the whole fender comes out, and you just simply change the tire out. Pretty slick.
No, you think the French on engineering, that's pretty cool. We're going to show you a feature on this Citroen that actually is coming back in the industry today, is when you turn the steering wheel, if you can focus on that light in there, that right there turns when you turn the car left or right. They have a main seal beam, and they actually have a beam for when you turn the steering. This right here is another safety feature that Citroen really came up with, and some early automakers did the same thing. They're coming back in the business, and what a neat feature to have on a car. This is a 1971 automobile that has features that are absolutely outstanding.
Why do fools fall in love? Why do birds sing so gay? Lovers await the break of day. Why do they fall in love?
How you doing, young man? Mike Hennessy.
Charlie Affronti.
Charlie, how you doing?
Fine, Mike, thank you.
When I saw your shirt, I figured this guy has to open this particular Corvette.
Yeah.
You know, when you came in today, it brought back so many memories. I've had really modeled out of my living really with early straight axle cars.
Right.
And seeing a 1957 Vet come in, and you know, the big deal back then, you know, the difference between a 56 and a 57 was what?
The mirror. The rearview mirror.
And?
Yours, the 56s were adjustable up and down, and the 57s weren't. That was the only visibility difference.
And, of course, the headlight rings. So when guys would go ahead in the earlier years, they were painted the same color as the car. So when the guys had a 56 and 50 or 57 car,
right,
or a 56 car, they would want to paint the headlight rings or have them chrome plated.
Okay,
so they would order them from the dealer. Dealership had a massive amount of them. But I'm telling you, this right here, the whole color scheme of this car, waffle interior, the color, and they didn't make very many of these.
No, there was under 600 of this color Cascade Green.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, as far as a driver, do you drive this much at all, or?
We drive the T-Bird a lot more. They're kind of rough to drive. A lot of fun though, and it gets the most looks. I'm telling you, it gets a lot of looks. The car, so we do drive it locally a lot.
Yeah,
the trunks are small, so that's the other problem. If you want an overnighter or whatever.
They don't hold a lot of golf clubs.
No golf clubs. No golf clubs.
They're just a fantastic car. How long have you had it?
I've had it about 8 years. Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Now, did you buy it restored, or did you do some work yourself?
No, I bought it, and then a friend of mine in our Thunderbird Club did the paint job in chrome. He owns a body shop, and he did it. He says, if you give me some time, I'll do it for you.
Well, you got a great car. We're going to take a look at this, and thanks for being on the Car Guy
Mike, thank you so much.
Early in the morning, we'll be starting out. Some hunters will be coming along. We're loading up our Woody with the board.
There's some cars I really feel I need to do a whole complete 1/2 hour show about, and I don't know if we could really cover everything on this car at our show, or we need to do a complete program. It's one of the finest cars I have actually seen in years, many years. This right here was known as the Builders, to be one of the best builders in the world. Back in 2010 was the best builder in the world that built this car. This is a 1940 steel body Woody Willys. I'm telling you about the rarity of the car is extremely rare. The wood was all handcrafted by a company called Cars down in Los Angeles, Southern California. They are well known for doing all the custom-made wood for this. The wood is absolutely phenomenal. This wood here was actually done in Australia when the company buys it, and now the wood in the dash we're going to show you is from African wood. The detail of this, the money, we don't normally go into all the dollars and cents on the show, but there's 3 cars on the show here. There'll be my Ferrari Testarossa and the GT40 in this car. those 3 cars would add up to over $1 million. I'm telling you, just give you an idea of what some of the values are. The frame on this car is absolutely spectacular. We're going to meet my good buddy Bill one day. We're going to go ahead and cover this car here from soup to nuts. But I wanted to show you the quality level of the wood and craftsmanship, the color on this. I'm telling you, you just don't get them like this. And Bill, to bring this to our show, I was very, very proud to have him bring it in. And I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of a taste. It's almost one of those cars that's kind of the awe moment when you bring it in. The sound, the looks. But let's go check out some other features on here that are just going to blow you out of the water. Underneath the hood of this car is absolutely spectacular as the rest of the car. It's an LS motor, and I'm telling you, it's the way it should be, a GM power plant. It just looks done so right. When a car is done right and done with this much quality, I'm telling you, I'm actually probably, I'm pretty quiet about it because it's one of the most phenomenal cars I've seen, and loving a Woody. When Estelle gets you a shot of the front of this car with that 40 Willys front end look, I'm telling you, this right here is my choice of the best car at the show. Mike Hennessy.
Mike, how you
doing,
man?
Tell everybody your name.
Paul O'Neill.
Paul O'Neill, the Irishman.
Yeah.
Sure to be sure, Lottie.
Yeah, we're doing our best here.
That's what they're saying. Now, this show, I don't know if I've seen this car here before or not, but we have a lot of unusual cars here, don't we?
It's a good match. You know, you've got the 60s, you've got hot rods, resto rods, originals.
And
you know,
a 1959? Am I right?
Yeah, 63 GT Hawk, yeah.
Well, you have a 59 grill, right?
It's a 59 grill,
Okay.
yeah. Put that on there just for, I like the looks of it.
Sure.
I've got the original still. Of course, I didn't throw it out, but it just gives it a little cleaner look, in my opinion, yeah.
Boy, these are just such unusual cars, and these are still out there. I want to let guys and collector people know, these are still buyable.
They're still out there. They're still affordable. Oddly enough, I see them because I'm an owner, but usually the Studebaker owners, for some reason, don't bring their cars to the shows. So this is the only one, and that's typically common. Mine's the only one at the show.
Sure,
So,
the Golden Hawk, Silver Hawk, I had Gran Turismo. I really like them because they're
bullet nose.
And I did a whole episode on a bullet nose I had. Matter of fact, I got one of my shop guys, Danny, with me today. We had that bullet nose. People looked at it, they thought it was a custom built car because they weren't sure that really was the real deal.
Yeah, they made it look like a World War II bomber with the cone in the middle and the 2 headlights. It did look like a World War II bomber. It really
Very cool.
did.
Now, how long have you had this?
A few years now, yeah.
Now, are you thinking of recarring and going into something different?
You know, other reasons why, but yeah, this is just a repaired car. It's not restored or anything like many of the cars here are in much better condition.
You know, but this is, I'm trying to talk earlier, this is a display car. I mean, there's show cars. We had a wagon over there, Willie's wagon, but, you know, this is $500,000 car. You know,
if a kid wants to look in and put his hands on it, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a nice,
I think it's nice.
an easier feeling to have, because some of these cars like this Corvette here, I mean, it's in pristine condition. You don't want anybody touching it. So.
And it's a child hand magnet.
And that,
child hand
it's a
magnet. We should get that at the bottom of the show.
Because it's shiny.
Oh, it is. Hey, I appreciate you having this
Absolutely,
car on
Mike.
the show.
Okay, man. We'll see you at a couple other shows.
And another Irishman. That's what
Yeah.
we got here. And we're going to take the camera around this car because these are very unusual. They're very rare. And to see them on the road and see a nice one, there's not many out there. Check it out. Kind of a cool car. Hey, Mike Hennessy.
Hey, Adam here.
Hey, Adam, I was going to say, McFly! Doc, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm still looking for some plutonium if you have some.
Yeah, we're looking for some. Anybody got any plutonium out here? We need some plutonium. We find Mark, he probably has it in a champagne glass. Or Captain Morgan. But that's for another show.
I need to return to 1985.
That's 1 year I don't want to go back to. I'm okay with where we're at today. Hey, we got a DeLorean back here.
Yep.
I guess no one's figured that out with Doc here, 1983. Okay, I'm going to DeLorean him. How many years make DeLorean?
1981 to 82 with a few 82s marked as 83.
What motor's in DeLorean?
2.8 liter PRV V6.
What brand? What company?
Peugeot, Renault, Volvo.
He's done well. He's did well. They had automatics and sticks?
Both.
Both.
3-speed automatic and a 5-speed manual.
And what color's a DeLorean?
Silver. But they did actually make two gold-plated ones with enough parts to make a third one, which they did build. And DuPont did have a experimental red one.
I'm telling you, but you know that we were talking earlier, and we have some unique cars here today, and your DeLorean seems to be quite a big hit. I think it is. You know, you can be pretty modest about it, but a lot of people like seeing the car. And how's it feel to own a car that people just kind of? It's like I don't want to say it's a chick magnet, but it's a people magnet. People come up and want to know about your car.
It makes me just feel like a celebrity, actually.
Well, no, that's my job. This is the Car Guy channel, Mike Hennessy, and the only celebrity on this show is me. So I don't get much DeLorean out of him on that one. Now, how long have you had it?
I've had it since 2012 when I found her sitting in a trailer park, actually.
And you have to do any restoration work to it?
Quite a bit. He left, did a 20-year hibernation with all the original fluids and everything.
Oh, the hydraulics and
everything.
Oh, well, look, the car looks absolutely fantastic.
Thanks.
And the worth value of these things are doing really pretty good in the market. They're respected well. But you brought up a statement I thought was pretty good. You said that whatever type of show you have, this show here is open to about everything. We wear no blinders. Then there's your Ferrari group, your high-end group. You can pull up in the DeLorean. What did you say?
You can pull up in a DeLorean to any group and they'll just kind of accept you as their own.
It's kind of cool, huh?
Oh, very cool.
I think it's very neat. Hey, we're going to take a look around this car here and check it out. We're going to check out the inside, and we're going to show everybody the color on the car, because you don't really wax it. You basically use
stainless steel cleaner and steel wool.
Pretty cool. Let's check this car here out. Keep in mind, Hot Santa's Nights is coming up on June 8th. We're going to introduce you in a couple minutes to some of the RC airplane guys. There's all stuff going on down here at Hot Santa's Nights this year, because we're going to have the barbecue cook-off stuff. We're going to have drones in a drone fighting thing. Absolutely spectacular. It's like the demolition derby to RC airplanes. And of course, we're going to have the famous over 200 cars. Airplanes going to be all over the place. It's one of those events you don't want to miss. And here's the very, very cool part about it. Very family friendly. And we even beat family friendly by saying this event is free to everybody to come. We always try to do a lot of free events because we always sponsor one of our great charities, the VMC, the Valley Medical Association, with Chris Wilder. And it's a fantastic organization to help all sorts of people in need in the medical industry, women, children, and everything that goes on with the Valley Medical. And we're just proud to be part of them. Hey there, guys and gals. I'm over here with the RC Group. Now, Baylands RC Group is all about remote control airplanes, which we're going to have at Hot Santa's Nights. These are the guys that actually make this whole complete show happen. These guys got planes up in the air, down the ground, doing flips and all sorts of stuff. They do stuff with these planes that I'm telling you, they do more things that I've never seen. I can't even believe they can do this. We're going to do this over at Hot Santa's Nights, and it's coming up at July 8th down at Reed Hill Airport. See you all there, so get rocking and rolling. Hope you enjoyed the show. We covered a lot of very interesting cars. When you get DeLoreans, you get $500,000 Woodies out here, and a lot of very special cars. And of course, the Pontiac 2+2. Everything here has been my favorite today. I love variety and the different stuff. Wish you guys sometimes leave your blinders at home, and you can enjoy all different types of very, very cool cars. Hey, see you guys at the next show. God bless you, and take care.